Hi folks, this is Rose from In Rose's Garden, and today we are going to work on a circlet. So to start, we're going to need my buddy, my head bust, some 14 gauge wire, some 16 gauge wire, and some 24 gauge wire, and whatever you need for decorations, whether it's little pearls or little crystals, one or the other. So let's see if I can show you the photograph, my sketch. Let's see, there we go. This is the one we're going to work on. It's a relatively simple one, but we do have to make the bits and pieces and then get them together. So we need to get our wire out, and then we need to start getting our pieces made. So let's turn down and we'll start doing that. Okay, here is our wire. We have 14 gauge. This is our base wire. We have 16 gauge. This will make our odds and ends little pieces that are going to come together. And our 24 gauge, which is for wrapping things, for wrapping the wire to hold it in place and to hold the jewels in place. So the first thing we need to do is, well, of course, we need to open our wires up because these are brand new spools, both of them. And then we're going to use our head, our little head bust, to get the proper amount of wire out to start with. Now, be aware of two things why we do this. Number one, this probably will not be the size of most people's heads. It will probably be a little small, and that is why I use as a closure a lobster claw and an extender chain. When I take these to shows, I'm going to cut these little bits of messy wire off the ends here. When I take these to shows, I generally, I don't know where that went to, take some extra extender chain just in case it's just not big enough. Now, the other thing I was going to tell you is I'm going to try and stay on screen as we work. You'll notice I've got this down a little lower than I normally do. And that's because I tend to pull the wire to me as I'm working. I don't mean to do so, but it's just natural to do so, so that you have a little bit of more aware of what you're doing. So what we want to do first is get some of the wire unspooled. Come on, you. There we go. That has a little kink in it, so we're going to want to work that out some. Now, because this one has got a double fairy drop at the bottom, though the fairy drop has no dangle, a lot of times when I make a fairy drop, I'll have a dangle either inside the drop or hanging below it. This one doesn't have it. It just has a double fairy loop instead of, what are you doing here to me? Come out of there. And so it will be sort of its own decoration as it goes along. So we're going to get the wire out here. It's the first step. And now what we're going to do is we're going to wrap it around our head. I'm not sure how well you can see this. I hope you can see it all right. Oops. Bang, boom. The wire is, well, the wire is the wire. It wants to do what it wants to do. So we're going to get this wire. Sorry, I didn't mean to bump the camera there. And we're going to pull it all the way around so that it goes all the way around our head bust, and it gives us some extra because we can always cut some off, but we can't add to. And we need some extra for the loops here in the back and to make that fairy loop in the front. So I'm going to give it this much extra. We're going to cut it about right here, where I've got it at right here. So we'll put her aside for right this second. And we're going to get our cutters out again, and we're going to cut this right where our band is at. So that is our 14 gauge. We won't need any more of that, so I'm going to set it aside. So what we do need to do is we're going to straighten this up somewhat. We want it to have a bit of a bow in it because, let's face it, it's going around a head. So you're going to want it to have some bow, but you see this one side is much longer than the other side. So we're going to need to get this bow to go this direction so that when they cross over each other, it's about the same. And that's probably pretty good. Now the next thing we want to do is we want to find the approximate middle of our wire here. There, that's pretty good. This has got to bow out a little bit here. So anyway, this is what we're looking at so far. We want to find the very middle here. So we'll take our tape measure and we're going to measure and see how big this actually is. So we just start here at the end at the 0, of course, and we're just going to hold this as we bring it around so that it stays flush with your wire. And we're only doing this right now so we can find the middle. Looks like we're 23, which means we need, the middle is 11.5. Get out of the way here. So let's back ourselves up to 11.5. So that's right here. And I'm going to put a little mark here with my Sharpie. I'm going to do that because I want to make sure that I try and stay in the middle. There's no guarantee you'll stay in the middle, but I want to try. So we're making our double fairy loop. So in order to do that, I need my oval wire mandrel. I'm going to put that right on our little mark here, which is right here. And then I'm going to take these two wires and I'm going to bring them around all the way. And because we're making a double one, as you can see, I went off the center just a hair's breadth, but not too bad. We're going to tighten that up just a little bit so it's tighter. So it's just a small little one. Now, some people like to turn this so it wraps. I don't. For two reasons. Number one, it makes it more bulky and you tend to lose your oval. So what I'm actually going to do to hold my oval is I'm going to get a little piece of 24 gauge. I don't need very much, a couple inches. And I'm going to take and wrap this around where my loop is at. 1, 2, 3. Send it up towards more so it stays closer to the middle there. We'll pull this around to make the 4th. And then I'm just going to let the wire sit there like that. But that'll keep it from moving around too much. Now we're going to take our mandrel again, put it right here. I'm going down to the second one, and we're going to again bring our wires around. Now this one's a little more tricky because, as you can see, the wires are already bowed and they're trying to do something weird to us here. But that's all right. We can get it to work. So we're on number 2. We want to pull it pretty tight. So there's our second one in place. Now I am going to probably measure this to make sure it stayed pretty much the same. But before I do that, I'm going to get another little piece of 22 and we're going to wrap that up again. Actually, it's 24, excuse me. This is all German style wire. I use German style wire because it's medium temper, and so it holds quite a bit better. So again, we're going to put this on here, and we're going to wrap around once, and I'm going to wrap to the top 2 times here, and then hold it and wrap 2 more times down this way. So we have 4 totaled out. And as you can see, my wire's trying to grab everything around it, which is not an uncommon occurrence. So I'm going to just leave these wires hanging until I feel like I'm to the point where I want to start taking them off. And then this particular wire is my base wire, and it's just going to turn down, and we're going to just go over this way. So we're just going to straighten this wire out and then do the same on this side. So we have a little bow right here at the top. It should be bowed just a little bit, and then sort of straight from then on out. So like so. Now then this is going to wrap around your head, the head, and we're going to measure this to see how close they are to each other as far as sizing is concerned, length is concerned. And if they're not the same, we're going to cut off any extra. So I can see that this one is going this a little bit more because she seems to be moving to one side some, but she's pretty good. So we need to measure our sides again, and we're going to measure right here from where our bow is, the top of our fairy loop, and then go down the line, holding it as you go, just like you did when you were doing it before, to keep it rounded out close to the wire. Okay, we're at 10 inches on this side, and let's see what we are on this side. Now 10 inches is what we need, so we're going to put this on the 10 and then just go this way. And oh, we have very, very little extra. You can see we have about 1/8 of an inch extra, so we're going to cut that little bit off. And now I have my tape measure wrapped around in my, so we need to get that out of there. So close that up. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my file, and I'm going to try and keep this from knocking everything off my desk. And I'm going to file these ends down a little bit so we don't have any sharp edges. Hopefully. Okay, that feels good. Well, that had one. I could feel it snag it as I tried to pull it through. Okay, now that I've got that, well, there's still a little sharp there. Let's get it down there a little bit more. There we go. Now we're going to take our mandrel here, and we're going to make our loops. Now we want to make sure our loops face upwards, so since our fairy drop faces down this, we need to take our loop, and I'm going with the bigger of my small loops, smaller ones here, and we're going to wrap this up into a loop on both sides. And this is where we're going to hook our lobster claw and our extender chain to so you can fit it to your head. that out of there. There we go. Now our next step is to bring our head back in and form this sort of to the head. You can see we have some weird wobbles here. We're going to want to fix those as much as possible. So let's bring our head back into play here. And I know this one's going to be hard to see because of the way it is. So we put our head, our drop, right here where it belongs on the nose. And then we're going to bring our wires around to form it to the head. Bring this one from the other side. Come here, you. And it's actually may end up being just a tad longer than I like it. If it is, we will trim it off. In the meantime, we're going to start working. And because we're going to work this somewhat, see how close it is back here? We got to have our lobster claw back here as well. But because we're going to be working and adding things to this, it will probably take some of that space away. So that's our base piece right there. Now at this point, if you wanted to, you could put the chain and lobster claw on here and hold it together so that it's in the shape you're going to want it more or less to be in when it's being worn. So there we are, what it's looking like so far. Just a simple little wrap. The next thing we want to do is to start forming our pieces that we're going to attach to it. So, if you recall our picture, we're going to have 3 additional wires. Let's see. I don't think you can see the picture, can you? So, I'm going to turn it upside down, so you're going to be looking at it upside down, but you'll get an idea of what I'm talking about. So we have to have, this is our base wire. We just came up right here, and we're going to have 2 smaller ones here, and then a third that's bigger and goes up and loops up and around. This is our large one. This is the one that's going to carry the pearls or the crystals, whichever we decide to do. So now we need to get our 16 gauge out and cut a piece and do this little curve in it and then the loops. And then the same with our next one, which is going to just be right here across the top with the curve and the loop, and then our large one. So let's get those going. So we'll need the 16 gauge wire. This is again Beadalon 16 gauge German style wire because it has the medium temper that makes this a little stronger. Do you have to use 14 and 16? If you don't feel you can work with 14 and 16, you don't have to. When I first started making circlets, I made everything with a base of 18, though of course it's not as strong, and so I started switching for the strength to the higher gauge wires. But like I said, the first probably half dozen or a dozen of my circlets were made with 18 gauge. So there's those raggedy ends. Now, if you'll recall, our first one was relatively small that we were making. So we're going to just plop this over here where we can get to the wire more easily. Come on, where's your end? Oh, I see. Our ends are right here and right here. So we don't need a very big piece for this first one. It's just going to have a bow and 2 loops in it. So I'm not really measuring, I'm just sort of guesstimating. So the first one is going to be relatively small. We'll sort of straighten it some. and then we're going to make the loops and the bend. Okay, I've got my 16 gauge wire out. I've trimmed it and everything, and we need a 4-inch piece and a 6-inch piece for what we're going to do here. So, well, we'll need another piece beyond that too, but we're going to worry about the 4 and the 6-inch pieces right now. So I'm going to straighten this some so I can measure it easier. Get our tape out and go put this on the 0. And go to 4 inches. Stay up there. So there's 4. So we'll cut this off. And now we need 6. So again on the 0, run down the wire till we get to the 6. And there's the 6. So there we go. Put this aside for a little while we make these 2 pieces up. What these 2 are bows. So we're going to want it to curl this direction. Does it curl this direction? Yeah, it does curl this direction. So we're going to take our smaller of these 2, and we are going to, well, you know what? Let's do the middle bow first. So we need our tape measure back out. We want to go to 3 inches on this one. So we'll run our tape measure down to the 3, and it's right here. So this is where we want our bend, and we're going to bend it downwards like this. So there's our 3-inch one. And then with this one, we'll do the exact same thing, except for it's at the 2-inch. So to right here. No, that doesn't seem right, does it? Yeah, it is. 2 inches it is right here. But, yeah. So now we have the bow in both of these. And we're going to take our bell making pliers and we put our loop coming down this direction. So there's the one, and we'll go the other direction with this one. So here's our first of our decorative piece. Oh, I did those the wrong way. They should have been going the opposite direction. Well, we're going to straighten this up. And then we'll turn it the opposite direction. Amazingly enough, it doesn't look too bad considering that it was turned the one direction, and now we're turning it back to the other direction. There we go. There's our little one. Now this is actually be about right there. Now we're going to do our bigger one, exact same way, with our loops going down. So we'll go in here just like we had before, except for this time we're trying not to turn it the wrong way. So there we go. Turn this one. So now we have two little flying bees, sort of speaking. And these are going to sit with this one sitting below the other one. But because this one is supposed to be down further, we're going to bend that a little bit so it's going to sit sort of like this when we hook it in to our base wire. Actually, it goes this direction, up. So it'll sit, these pieces, here's our base, it's going to sit so that the little one will be right here at the base wire, and then the bigger one will be sitting above it, and it will also come up to the base wire. So it probably it needs to be straightened just a little bit, because I don't think it's going to come up to the base wire after it comes. So it's going to sit like so and sit at the base wire. I know it's easier said than done, because you really can't see it because the wires are too long to tuck it under here good. So this is going to sit like this, and then this one will sit on top, sitting over and coming over to the base wire again to make our loop here. So what we need to do is we can hook these on right now, or we can just call them pieces and get that to them in a minute. Is this the same length? For some reason it looks like it might be a little different. Now, one thing we can do to get these formed and properly is to take our head bust again. We know these are going to sit right above its forehead like so. So we can push these down on either side to bring that curve into it the way it needs to be when it's on the circlet and on the head. So like so. We'll do the same with the little one. It's going to come up here. It's going to sit right here. We're going to bring it up and around. So she's going to sit with a bow here, a little bit of a bow to go around the head on both sides. So like this. And then this upper one, oops, sorry, didn't mean to bump my lights, will come and sit so that their loops hit the top one like this, and then they come around and they'll meet our base wire. So that is the two little pieces that go up in the front. And then the remaining piece is another piece that's going to come, let's get these out of the way sort of, bring our base wire back. It's going to come here, but it's going to loop down and around here, and then up, and then another loop over here. So it's going to come up and around, and then up and over. And then that will in turn circle around the bottom of these guys, and then come back up to the top. And then it's going to get the jewels on that piece. So we need to get a relatively good size piece of wire out now. Put these aside. We need to get some more wire out. And this one needs to be, like I said, relatively good size piece, because it's going to be going from the middle, loop down and around both sides, and then back up again. And then end up somewhere around the ear, probably. So we need a good size piece. Let's bring our head in so we can give ourselves a little bit of a guesstimate. Well, maybe we can just do it with our base. So here's the base. it's going to come and loop around and go up there. So we probably need about twice this much right here. So I'm going to call it good about right here. How big is that? I don't know. We'll measure it. Put our base away. Actually, I'm going to straighten that out. It's going to be easier to measure if I have it straightened out. And actually, we need to bow the center. We need to put the little V notch in the center. It's actually going to be deeper than this one because it's going to go down below it. So let's measure it and then we'll put our notch in. So we go from the 0. And measure all the way around. I let that piece pull up in the middle some, So it looks like 17 inches, so it's 8.5 is our middle point. So let's go up to 8.5. So that's right here. So we need to put our notch in it. So right here, and it's got to be a pretty deep notch for this one, because like I said, it's going below this and that. And these are going to sit like this. And then this one is going to go below it. And so how to do that is I'm going to take my thumbnail and I'm just going to, or not my thumbnail, but my thumb, and I'm just going to curve this so that it'll go down and around and then come back up to the top. So like this. So what we want it to do is it's going to go up here. Our base pieces are trying to fight with each other here now. Now this is going to go here, and then it's going to come down around the bottom here. See how I've got it? And then when it gets up here, I'm going to then turn around and we're going to then loop it back down a little bit. Now, because this is going to be like a secondary loop, what we're going to do is we're going to put all this together right now. So, to do that, we're going to put on all the pieces sort of at the same time, but well, it's going to be at the same time, but it's going to then be individually done too. So by the same time, what I mean by doing it at the same time, we're going to take these pieces and we're going to wire wrap the centerpiece together here of all 3 of them so that they're all sitting like this, and then we're going to wrap a center wrap all the way around all 3 of the pieces, and then if we need to, we can adjust our bends and such after we get that done. So we'll get some wire out, and then after we get these done in the center here, we will wrap this little one here to the top or upper one here on both sides, because that'll show us exactly where that one needs to go. And then we will get our base wire out and wrap this one to the base wire, which will in turn hold everything in the place it's supposed to be at. So let's get out a little bit of our 24. And I'm going to get out a relatively good sized piece because we are going to be going over 3 wires. So to start this, I'm going to bend this about in the middle because this is going to go over all of these guys right in the center here. So we'll just put this right here, and then this is going to, well, this one has to go in too. So it'll sit like so to start with. We'll bring these wires up. And we want to keep these as centered in this groove up here as much as possible. Now, they probably won't perfectly sit there because, let's face it, there's 3 wires. They're all bent at a slightly different angle, and they're going to try and fight a little bit, and that's natural. So we're going to push this guy down here on this side, take this one, and we're going to wrap it up once, twice, 3. Now that we've got those 3 in, we're going to do the same with this other side and go 1, 2, and 3. And this has grabbed some stuff. I don't want it grabbing, so get out of the way here. Okay, so now we've got these 3 hooked together. And as you can see, our little one here is pushing down in a way we won't really want it down there. So what we're going to do is we're going to take and we're going to bring this guy up in a way that he hits his buddy up here above. Now, because I have this much wire left, yeah, it's not going to be enough, I don't think. I'm going to get another piece of wire out. And again, I'm going to get a relatively good sized piece because if I have enough, I can do both sides and not have to cut another piece. So then what we're going to do is we're going to take this one and we're going to wrap right here on the base bar here of the bigger one. We're going to wrap 3 wraps here. 1. You can wrap 4. I like 4 as well as 3 sometimes, but definitely 3. And if you want 4, then bring our loop up here. And now what I'm going to do here to make it a little simpler is I'm going to open this loop up. Just open it sideways like this. And what I mean by making it simpler, now what I'm going to do is we got to wrap inside this loop. So we're going to come around, bring the loop up into place, and then go over that way some. When we come back up here, we're going to, actually I should have just done it right here. I'm going to go right through here. Then we're going to come back down and around. We're going to go through here. Come on, baby, go through there. My bend is going slightly the wrong way to what I want. Okay, there we go. Pull it through, go through this loop again, up and around again, and we're going to do that 4 times. So as you can see, we're going to come around here, go through here, pull up here, through here, and around here. That's number 3. We want 4. So we'll do that again. This is number 4. And push it over there. Then we're going to close the loop back up. And you see we have this hanging on right here now. But we want some more loops because we need to stabilize it. So we're going to go through again. 1, 2, pull it in tight. 3, and as I say, if we want 4, we can do 4. I think I have 3 on the other side, so we'll keep it to 3 on this side. Looks like I was a little loose on one of those, but it is what it is. Now I'm going to trim this off. Help if I get the clippers, wouldn't it? Trim this wire off here. Then we should have enough, hopefully, to put the other side against this wire as well. So, pull down you're in the way. So what we're going to do this time, instead of doing it from, my corner here is coming out of place. It's trying to slide together. Okay. We're going to bring this one and we're going to start it. We're just going to do the 3 loops that we want. 1, 2, 3. And we're going to slide it over on the other side here. And then we're just going to start going, we'll go through the loop. You could do this by opening it up again and giving yourself some more space, or you can just go through here. Now we're going to pull it tight, and we're going to do the 4 like we did on the other side. There's 2. Three. And 4. Now we'll do 3 around the base bar. 2 and 3. And there we go. We have this piece in place. And again, this thing is sliding sideways. Once I get this more set, then we'll take our nylon drop pliers and we'll get that set up better. So then these will all come this way. And this one will go and loop down below. And then we'll come back up to our base wire. So let's get these tightened up and trimmed so we can see more what we're doing here. And then we will use our nylon jaw pliers on them to make sure that they're good and tight and where we want them. So we'll just pull our wires into place. Trim them off. I think this guy's already pretty trimmed. Then we're just going to trim all of them down. take our regular pliers and squish these pieces down into place. Looks like that one could have been a little bit shorter, but we'll see if we can get it to sit properly here. If not, then we will have to shorten it up some. I think I am going to shorten it just a little bit. Lily is talking to Lynn. So there's the middle piece. Then we want to take and do the same on our side pieces here and get the little excess wires tucked down in as much as possible to the base wire. Okay. Now I'm hoping I'm staying on camera for you guys, because this is doing wire work on camera is not easy because the wires want to grab everything and I tend to pull them towards me, that kind of thing. So hopefully it's not too bad. So now we're going to take our nylon jaw pliers and we're going to squish all these places that we just worked up. So they'll sit the way we want them to. This one's wire is poking up a little bit. Okay, so there is our three pieces put together with our two little pieces hooked to each other. These ones are going to loop down, as you can see, just like this. And our next step is to get our base wire out. And we're going to want to trim these wires as well and squish them down, just like we did the others. So we'll and this one is the one that's sort of hard to work with because it's so long, being the base wire. Okay, now we'll get those wires squished into place. Oops, I made that one stick up instead of going down. Then we'll take our nylon jaw and squish this one again too. Okay. Now that we've got that done and the other piece done, what we want to do is now bring this one into place. It's going to go over the top here, and these wires here are going to sit. You should come over here. They're going to sit right here and here And then these two are going to sit here and here on our base wire. So we need to get these settled so that the V is right here where it belongs. See how we have our V right here? So we want that to be sitting right there. But in order to do that, we need to make sure that we've got our V in the proper place when we start hooking down these little side pieces. And this side piece should actually come down to this as well, so that it goes sort of. Okay, this little guy is supposed to go stop under the main wire, and then this one goes on. Yeah, it goes under it too. So I guess they both are going to go under our main wire, like so. Whereas this little V is in right here. So we're going to get these two loops hooked up to the base wire first, what we're going to do, and then we will stabilize it by hooking at least this bottom one in place as well. See those? So we need to get some more of our 24 gauge wire, and we're going to hook this loop here up to our base wire here. Then we're going to push it to make sure it's in the center, and then we'll hook this side up as well. So we'll get our 24 out. Oh, come on, where's the end? Okay, I'm going to cut about this much so that I can do one side, and then I'll do the other side as well. So now we're putting our decorative pieces onto our main piece. So to do that, we're just going to do the same as we did with the other piece, and that's just to wrap 3 or 4 wraps around our base bar here. Then when we come back down, we're going to grab hold of the loop. So we've got to go through the loop, get it good and tight there, push it over some, and we want 4 through here. Come on, you, stay there. There's 2. Three. 4. Now we want to do the 4 on the base bar again. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now that we got these 4 in, we'll just trim this excess wire here and just leave a little bit of a tail. Come on, you get out of the way here. Now we need to bring it together. And remember, this one now needs to go right here on the other side. But in order to get that placed properly, we need to make sure our V or diamond shape, whatever you want to call it, is sort of placed in the right place. We can just hook this on and then we can play with it to make sure we can get it wiggly, and then put this wire, hook this wire on. And actually we can hook all 3 wires on if we want, just by starting here, going up and around this one a few times, then a 1 loop, and then so on and so forth as we go up the line here till we get it so it looks like this. So let's get this one put in place, the side on over here, and we'll do our 3 or 4 loops here. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Make sure that's 4. Then we're going to go through our loop here the 4 times. And this is another one of those times you can open the loop up and it makes it somewhat easier sometimes. So we'll open our loop up, bring our wire down, and as we go around, oops, went the wrong way. It might be easier to, okay, hold it up here, bring it down and around. No, don't think this one being open is going to help us. So we're going to close it back up. And we're just going to loop through it. So we want this tight. So pull it up. There's 1. 2, 3, 4, and that slid out of there. Come on, go back in. There we go. Okay, do I have 4 inside the loop? Looks like so. So then we're going to do 4 on the other side here. 2, 3, and 4. And we have quite a bit of extra wire, and that's fine because that will give me some to start our next section, which is to start putting our base pieces on down here. So see how we're doing there? So we're going to start, I'm going to start on this side. I like wrapping to this side better, so we're going to start on this side, and what I'm going to do is, I should have enough wire, is we're going to do the loops right here. Stay put. 1, go through here. It's going to get much more fiddly in a second because once I get these 4 in, we're going to wrap around that bar, and it's going to pull it in to here. So here's our 4, and I notice this one's wrapping a little weird, so I'm going to pull it up. Now we want this to sit right about here where it is. So I can do one of two things. Because these bars are sitting so close to each other, I can just wrap them together if I wanted, or I can just wrap around the one like this, pull you up here, you're too far down there, like there. We'll go through here. Go around the one bar again. Now, the next step is we can either go around this bar, the second bar, or we can just go up the wire some. But I'm going to take this and I'm going to make 2 loops around both, which will hold it in place really good there. So 1, and 2. Now we're going to go down here, go around here, and in the back, see, we're just going to let it come across the back piece right there, and we're going to go now across this bar a couple of times. And that spot looks pretty good where it's sitting. So now the next step is to wrap around this bar 2 or 3 times to stabilize it right here. So there is all of our pieces put together. But now I need another piece of wire, and we're going to then do this same wrap that we did here over on this side to hold all of them in place here. So we need to get another piece of wire and wrap those guys up. Now again, we start right here, and we're going to wrap this here. Okay, now that we've got that piece in, it's time to do the couple of wraps that go around this guy. So through there, over around him, back up, And this wire is trying to twist up on us, so I'm going to put my finger in it till it comes back up. And I can't remember if I did 2 or 3 on this one. Let's go look and see if we can tell by looking at the other side. Looks like we did 3. So we'll do 1 more. Now we're going to come back up and we're going to go around this bar. Looks like twice. Then once we do that, we're going to come over here to this one and just do the 3 on the wrap around the bar itself and then on the wall. So it's just going to come up like so and go 1, 2, 3, and then 4 on this bar. Down you go. 1, 2, oops, dropped my pliers. 3, 4. Okie dokie. So here's what we've got so far. Now we need to trim these wires off, squish it down with the nylon jaw pliers, and then we're going to form it to the head somewhat. Then our next step is to bring these 2 sides up here. We'll wrap these on right here, and then we have to make our little loop-de-loop to bring it back down to the base of the wire. So let's get these cut. So we have here and here and here and here on this side. Go back to this side. Oop, sorry about that. Wire grabbed the tripod. Here, here, here. Oops, I'm grabbing something extra. I can feel too much trying to cut. There we go. And here. Now we gotta squish these guys down. Okay, there's that one. This one should be right here somewhere. Okay, there, it's coming to the front there. Okay, then here. Okay, we already did that spot, so bring you down here and go right there. This was the other place we cut, right here and here. Over here was right here, and here So let's get our nylon jaw pliers out. We will squish these guys down here. Go back over here and do this one again. Then we're going to do here, which is where we brought all these wires together. Middle again. Then we're going to do this guy. He's got a wire sticking up. I can see it right there. Okay. Bing. You can be squished one more time. And then this side over here. And he has a wire sticking up. Okay, so there are our pieces put onto the front. So now we're going to bring our head back. I'm going to put it into place. It's going to sit about right here. And we're going to start, sorry, I bumped that again, bending our piece into place. This guy is a little bit out of whack, so we're going to fix him a little bit. There we go. And get him under so you can see him better. We're squishing him down to the sides here. So there is the front, more or less done. And we've got him sort of in place. So see how we're looking right here? So now this piece has to be wire wrapped here as well as over here to hold it into place, and then we have to bring these loops back down in a little bit of a circular loop and then have a little loop at the end. So let's get a little bit more wire and we will wrap these guys up right here and here. So we'll bring this up here. Hopefully you guys can see it. Okay. And we're going to take and make a loop around both wires here, and I'm going to hold it. Then I'm going to wrap this around here like 3 or 4 times. Then I'm going to go through here another 4 times. And go to the other side here and wrap it 4 times. Push them all together because it's loosening itself up. 3 and 4. So there is this side put in place. Now we need to cut this wire. I think I have enough to do the other side here. And we'll go over and put it in place as well. So it's going to, again, we'll choose a spot and then we'll just pull this around 3 or 4 times. I'm going to go 3 with this side, then we're going to do our wire here. 2, 3, and I think that'll make 4, and I'm not sure we're going to even have to cut this wire. Looks like it's pretty well where it's going to need to end up. there we go. Now this one is going to get one more wrap here, and then it's got 4 around the base wire. I'm not sure I have enough wire to do 4. We may just end up with 3. We'll see. 2, 3. Well, it's going to be close. Let's see if we can pull it up to the edge of here. Okay. And then I'm going to push them all together.
Yes.
Okay, now we'll trim this side off. Okay, now I'm going to squish this one side into place here. But before I squish the other side, I'm going to take and measure and see how, if we're sort of the same from side to side. So we have a pretty good sized loop here. And is this about the same distance from side to side? Let's find out. Right now it has a wing, but we're going to remove that wing from it. So we're going to start here and just go along the edge here, and it's 5 at the top of the hook here. And it's pretty close to 5 on this side. It might be a wee bit smaller on this side. We'll see if we can move it just a touch, which I just did. So now we're going to squish down both of these sides. Get them pretty settled into place. Okay, now that we have those done, the last step is to loop these back down. And to do that, I'm just going to wiggle it with my finger here until it gets around here. Try to round it as much as possible as I bring it around without making too many kinks in it, because you can see it's trying to make a natural kink right there. And then we'll take our bell making pliers and we're going to take and make a loop again right here on this side, bringing it over here like so. Then we'll push that down onto here and hook it in place right here. We're going to do the same thing on this other side. So we want to make its natural loop. Now this side I think may be a little bit bigger. It looks to be anyway. So we may have got an extra little bit over here. If we do, we will fix that. Actually, I think it might be right here. It needs to come down into here a little more. Oops, that's a little too much. Let's see. Yeah, that looks good. So we'll squish that again because I loosened it as I let it come up. Then we're going to bring this down in its form, and then we're going to take again, make this loop right here. There we go. And now again, this guy is going to need to be wire wrapped right here on our edges. As you can see though, I think this one is bigger over here. So let's make sure that we have the same distance still from side to side. And then we'll measure from here to here to make sure we have the same drop as well. So let's measure again from here where they're connected over to our triangular top is 5. And so we'll put the 0 right here on the triangular top, go over and around, and ooh, we're like ½ inch off. This definitely is longer on this side. So we need to get this guy to drop down some. Come on, drop down some again. I went and tightened it back up, and now it needs to come over here some. So either that or I need to push this one. It might be easier. Let's see if it will be easier to push this one this way a little bit. It was. So we push this way and this way. And we have to see. Again, let's measure. To stop grabbing the leaves. From here over to our triangle is about 4 3/4 now. So now from the triangle over to here is 4 3/4. So we're good that way. Now let's see about this way. This way is from this loop to the base is about 1 1/2. Over here from this loop to the base is 1 1/2. So we're perfect from that in that regard. But I still think that this loop over here looks to be a bit bigger than this loop over here. See how it looks to be a bit more shallow? So let's measure this from here to the edge of where the curve is, and that is exactly 2 inches. Do the same over here. Go from the curve here up and over the top, and we got about an extra 1/4 inch. So what we need to do is we need to take our clippers and we need to cut about a 1/4 inch of this loop off, which would be about right here in the middle. And then we will rewrap it. Come on, don't slide off there, that's mean. And this is turned this way now. Now, let's see if it looks closer. Please come here, you. So down here, down to here. Yeah, that looks much better. So now we need to get some more wire, and we need to wrap these two down to the sides right here. So let's do that. So we'll get a pretty good sized hunk of wire so we got enough for both sides again. Go down in there. Oh well, don't. So we're going to do that exactly the same as we did all the other ones. We're going to start our wrap. Just take it, hold it, wrap 3 or 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm going to push these together because they obviously spread out there. You come down here. Now we're going to go, we've got our 4 loops in. Well, 4 when I pull this around. And now we're going to go through our little loop here. This is one of the places where you can open your loop up and you can push this down to where it needs to be and then go through right here. So this is trying to move, which is not surprising. It does that all the time. Now we want to do 1, 2. You want to get these relatively tight. 3. Oops, sorry, bumped the camera again. 4. We're all around on our 4. So we can close our loop back up now. And then we'll do 4 right here. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And push those tightly together. Bring this baby up and trim it off. So there's that side down. Now we'll come over here and do the exact same thing, but I'm going to, yeah, we'll start this way. I'm going to pull that up because I like to wrap to this way. So just going to do this, do 1, 2, 3, and 4, and these are pulled pretty far apart, so push them back together and pull it tight. Now again, this is one of those ones you can open it up just a little bit, bring this down here, push our wires over to where we need to be. I'm going to hold that with my finger as I pull through and bring this into place. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Push those together some so that they're not all loose. And then we do the 4 on the base wire. 2, 3, and 4. Close our loop back up. And then we can trim our wires off, and they look pretty good from side to side. So we just need to trim these two bunches of wires off, get our wires squished down, and then then is done, except for putting on the back findings for the to hold it in place on your head, and to put our jewels in here. I still haven't decided if we're going with pearls or with crystals, but we will have to decide that. There's that wire off. Push this wire up into place. Trim it off. Take your regular pliers and push it down. Now we'll do the same on this side. This loop tried to grab my hair. Naughty loop. And now we'll tighten these little wires up some. And get our nylon jaw pliers and scooch. This ring's open some, so I'm gonna, it doesn't really make a difference, but I'm gonna get in here a little bit and close it some there. So we scooshed this. Now we're gonna move over to this side and scooch this one. And now she is done, other than putting the back pieces on and hooking on our jewels. So what we're going to do, well, we'll need these in a minute. You put most of these things away. We won't need them, so we'll get them out of our way. Oops, bumped the light again. So we're right here. So what we need to do is get these about sitting about the same spot as you come around to the back. See, there, one's a little higher than the other one, so we don't want that. So we're going to get our head again, put it in place. So our little nose piece goes right here at just above the nose, comes down and around, comes over to the back, and sits right here. So it looks like this. Sorry, I bumped again. Trying to hold it so I can show you what it looks like. We'll have to turn up, I think, to get the full view of how she's going to look. But we do need to now, all we need to do is put the extender chain and the lobster in the back, and then decide if we're going to be using pearls or crystals for around this bar here and this one over here. And then it will be done. So I just need to go find the bits and pieces. We need the extender chain and the lobster claw to put across the back, and then decide what we want to do for jewels. Our last steps now are to put on our findings on the back and then to put in our jewels. I have chosen some little pearls, and we will just put on our extender chain and our lobster claw here in the back with these. Now I've chosen the medium size of our oval jump rings. These are 6s, though sometimes it's easier to put these on with 8s because, well, they're little. And sometimes it doesn't want to wrap into the wire as much as you want. Now, I used to always use a swivel lobster claw, but they have been very difficult to find lately. I have some gold ones, but I do not seem to have any more silver. I did look, but I could not find any. So now let's get this lobster claw attached here. Oop. Did you go on good? Looks like you need a little bit of tightening there. Okay. So there is our lobster claw on this side. And now we will put our extender chain on the other side. If I can get this at a good angle. Oh, whoa, flipped it. Well, that wasn't a good angle, was it? Well, I'll get another one out and we'll just get, I'll just clean that up off the floor later. I have quite a few of the extender chains in this little baggie. So, and do I have another? However, it looks like I need to get a new jump ring, but that's easy. They're right above me here. This one is at a sort of weird angle when I put it on, so we'll try and not have such a weird angle, so to speak, as we do it this time. Come on, you. Go on there. Okay, now we'll go over this loop here, and we have to just tighten this guy up. Come on, baby, cross over there. It's funny because it's the lobster claw side that normally gives me problems to close the jump ring, but this time it seems to be this side. Nope, it's not closed. So let's get it, see if we can get a good hold on this other side here. There we go. There we go. Got her on now. So there is our back piece with our lobster claw and our chain. So we'll just hook that into there wherever we feel like it. And there it's closed. Now our last step is to add our pearls to our 2 bars. So I'm going to get some more 24 out. And we need a pretty good size piece because we're going to be wrapping these little pearls all along here. So I want to get something about probably 2/3 more than the bar is. So, or, you know, the bar plus 2 more. So I think this should be enough for one side anyway. So to do the pearls, we're going to open them up, dump some out on our mat. Now, if you wanted to add color to your circlet, this is where you would do it. But anyway, we're going to do our 3 or 4 wraps. Don't throw the pearls all over the place. Wire. So we want to do those 3 or 4 wraps that we always do when we start and end. Now we've got those on. What we're going to do is push this wire way up here so it meets our other wire here up at the top. Then we're going to take and get a pearl on here. Slide it down to the bottom. Get it right here. And I'm going to hold it in place with my finger because this is where I want it to stay, up here on the top. So then we're going to tighten it, and I'll wrap once, and then back up, and we want to keep that pushed up there if we can. We may have to keep pushing it as we go along to make it stay in place. When we get to the other side, the fact that we will be at the end is what's going to hold it in place. So this pearl up here, bring the wire around, holding the pearl all the time so that it stays tight there, and then bring it up like so. 1, pushing that tightly that way, and then as we come up again, we'll put the next pearl on. Now these are little glass pearls. Like I said, if you'd wanted color, this would be where you'd get it from by using either colored crystals or colored pearls. So 1, and then right here. And we'll just keep going down till we get to the other side with our pearls filled in just like we're going here. Hold it in place, bring our wire around. 1, 2, and then come back up for our pearl. And we're just going to keep doing this till we get this whole bar filled into over here. So we'll hold our pearl in place, pull it tight, bring it around, and put the next pearl on. Now, if you wanted a larger size of pearl or crystal, that is acceptable if that's what you want to do. There's no set in stone rule for what you need to use here. I just chose to use the pearls. It's a nice neutral color. That way it can go with any outfit. Also, I put a pretty good sized loop across this bottom bar so that it droops quite a bit. Does it have to go that low? No. You could bring it up higher if you wish to. So 1, 2, and next pearl. Now, as you get closer to this end over here, it's going to get a little bit more difficult to wrap around because you've got this little curve right in here to work in. But now, since I want this to be consistent from side to side, after I get all the pearls on here, I will count and see how many I actually used, and then we'll use that many in the other side as well. we're getting close to this end where I said we're going to get a little bit tighter up here. And I have more wire than I needed, as it turns out, but better too much than not enough. Though with wire wrapping, it's not that hard to add more if you need to. I just don't like to if I can get away with it without doing so. Roar, that's enough. Rory is upset because Lily took his spot on the couch again. So I think this is probably going to be our last pearl on this side. Oh yeah, definitely going to be the last one on this side. Oh, get back up there. Nobody said you could come down. Now see, it's bumping against this upper wire, so it is done. Push this up here, make sure we got these all pretty even. And then we're going to do our wraps to end this side. And as you can see, I have a lot of extra wire, but I'd rather have extra wire than not enough, as I said, because not enough makes for problems. Come on, I need you to go over there. And then I'm going to have to count my pearls and see how many we have here. Now, when I'm in a place where I think I'm going to end up kinking the wire if I'm not careful, I will take and I put my thumb in the loop so that it can't kink as it comes down. Now, as you can see, we're not quite up to the bar, but I don't want to go any further, so we can push that up a little bit. Or I can make a few more loops here with the wire since I have plenty. Okay, I think we're good. There's the pearls on this one side all done. Now I'm going to trim these wires off and tuck them in. Actually, I'm going to bring you over here some more. Now, this is one place where I don't usually use my nylon jaw pliers, and if I do, I'm very careful because you don't want to break your pearl or your crystal. These are glass, and you can. So, if you do decide to use your nylon jaw pliers in here, just be careful. If you have some of the slimmer one nylon jaws, this would be a good place to use them, as opposed to trying to use the others. So there is one side done. Now we just have to do the other side. And our circlet is finished. So let's count our pearls, see how many we had here. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Looks like 16. Let's count a second time to make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. So we need 16 pearls to finish this off. Come here, little turtle. So that is not a pearl. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. So these 4 can go back in the box unless we lose one. There's a 5, I should say. And if we lose one, well, then we'll just have to fetch it back out, won't we? So now we need to get another piece of wire and just wrap this side up. So it will be wrapped exactly the same, and then it will be done. So I'm going to get it started, then we're going to turn the camera off for a while so that you don't have to sit and watch me do another bunch of these. And I will turn it back on just as we get to the end so that you can see what we're doing. So this should be our last piece of 24 gauge wire that we need. So we'll take this, and this time we're going to start from this side, and we'll just wrap this around the 3 or 4 times. There we go. Now we'll put our pearl on here and get to work. As I said, you could put bigger pearls or bigger crystals or any kind of crystals on here if you wished, because we do have plenty of room here, though there is a little tight spot right in this spot. So, no, you have to stay up there. One, 2. So now we're going to push this guy up into place a little bit better here and get our second pearl out and start running it down the line here till we get them all on. So this is the second one. And we're going to do this just the way we did the other side. Just hold the pearl tight, bring it around, bring her up, pull in tight, and then come up and get our next pearl. Now you can see they're dropping down some right now, and that will probably happen for a little while till you get them pretty well set in place. Go down there. And that's the one reason why you need to push these up and hold tight to your pearl when you put your next one in. So we have 3 in so far. We have another 13 to go, and so we're just going to go down the line just like that till we get to the other end. So, one more, and then we'll turn the camera off, and then I'll turn it back on when I get to the end so you don't have to watch me wrap all these pearls onto here. So tight, up, through, and then up again, get the next pearl. Okay, I've got all but 2 of the pearls on. As you can see, we're really close to the edge, so we may need to do some adjustments here, because I do want to have the same number of pearls, which is 16 from side to side. And I will recount them after I get this one on to make sure that I do need that one to make sure that I have the proper count here. So we'll put this one on. And this would be where our last pearl will go on if we need this last one. So a lot of people don't, you know, they look, oh, it looks pretty even, but I like to make sure we have the same number. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. On this side, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So we do need that last one. We have a little room here. We can push these down some to bring in that extra little bit of space we need up there for that last pearl. So let's just wiggle them a little bit till we get the little bit of space we need, which isn't much, obviously. And then we'll put this one down and push this around, bring her in tightly, and we're now at the place where we're just going to put our wraps to finish up sitting here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Now this is wrapping over its buddy, so we're going to try and get it to wiggle down so it doesn't do that. It comes up at the very base over here. It doesn't want to do that. Let's see if we need to do something on this side to get it to do that. Yeah, it's way over here. See how has came over to this side? We don't want it there. So I'm going to put my thumbnail here so that when it comes down, it comes where I want it. Come on, go in there. Now again, I'm going to put my thumbnail in there so it will go right into that groove. And there we are. We can push that one up just a little bit. We'll kind of do some adjusting here. Move the pearls around just a teeny bit. And I think we're done as soon as we cut our line and tuck things in. So we can trim this right in here, and then we'll take our pliers and tuck that wire into that hollow spot right there. Oops, it didn't go right where I want it, so I'll wiggle it a bit. I think it's where I want now. Now we need to get this other side here where we started. So we'll get that cut right here, and then take these pliers and tuck that baby in. And there we go. She is finished. What do you guys think? Isn't that pretty? Let's turn up so we can put it on our head bust and you can see more about how it looks all done. So here we go. She's all finished. Isn't that pretty? We have our extender chain, so you can make it longer or shorter for your head. And like I say, I always take some extra so that I can do any, if we need any bigger. So let's put her on the head bust. And the nose piece goes right here above the nose, and then we slide it down across the back, and that's how she sits. So there we go. So all finished. Extend her chain. There she is. Isn't that pretty? Didn't that turn out pretty? So anyway, this is our circlet, and this has been Rose from In Rose's Garden, and I hope you enjoyed making this with me. I know this has been a long video, but it's a long process to make one of these babies. And this one was actually one of my simpler ones. So anyway, again, this has been Rose from In Rose's Garden. We used Beadalon German Style wire in 14 for the base and 16 for our pieces, 24 gauge for our wire wrapping. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.